Moin Leute! I'm in Sydney, Australia. I'm visiting now the founders of CarAdvice.com. Elbors, Tony and Paul.
Take a risk, 6 to 12 months, give their dream a go. If you don't do it, you'll be 60 and you'll still be doing the same shit. You know, make you successful is your persistence and your willingness to never give up. And I think those two things are the most important.
It all started in the bedroom of Elbors and became the biggest platform for car reviews in Australia. I love this so much, Tony, when you said it's a dream to work like this. In this closes and just chill with the guys.
We travel around the world driving some of the most incredible cars on the planet. And talking to people, the designers of these cars, the engineers who have just as much passion as we do about a steering suspension system.
You love these talks with those people.
Amazing. Yeah, he probably likes it more than me because he's a mechanical engineer.
No, he's a civil engineer.
Civil? Really? With a little... God. Oh, actually, a surveyor is worse.
Surveyor. That's what Paul is.
Well, that's how we met André. I was in Stuttgart on a Mercedes-Benz event, and you just happened to be sitting on the table behind me.
Yes.
And I just thought it was another fan.
You had another fan.
Sure. The first time you recognised me, I'm like...
And then we started talking, and you told me about what you've been doing and just about everything you've been doing. And now you're here today in Sydney chatting to us. So actually, that's probably the other thing as well. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Network. Yeah. Networking is vital. It's king.
And you know what? You never stop learning. Bernie Ecclestone would never negotiate. If you wanted to come and the driver wanted more money, he would just say, no more money, there's the door. If you want to leave, there it is. And I think sometimes you learn to, when you learn that everything is, every point is worth a lot of money potentially, you learn to be very careful of the decisions you make in business. And sometimes you don't want to negotiate. If someone wants more than you're prepared to give them, you just say, I'm sorry, we're not paying that. You're out, like there's the door, you can leave, don't you?
Yeah.
Like you just become the same person, but you become slightly tougher, slightly harder, because you don't have to capitulate as much as you used to. And because if the guy wants a job here, we're prepared to give him everything that we have and a bit of this, a bit of that. But if he just wants more than you're prepared to give, then you just got to say no. And he might be a guy that you thought you have to have this guy. But in the end, if it doesn't feel right in your gut, then you don't run with it. Trust your instincts. Go back to that, I think, don't you?
100%.
Yeah.
So regarding the learnings, that was, Paul, your biggest learning. Trust your instinct.
That's it. You never know. But I think just even outside of this business stuff, just other parts of life, you just have to trust your instinct, and often it will be the right thing to do. Yeah, despite what your head says.
How did you guys met?
I had made a couple of TV shows on cars.
Yes.
That you'd have to say failed, I guess.
On Australian television.
Australian television.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 shows, and I had one show cancelled in 2005 after a year, and then I'm thinking I've got to get back into this business and just researching something, trying to put a new show together to present to Channel 10, and then I saw his website and he said something here. But the fucking guy doesn't review cars. So I got in contact with him online.
You discovered the website.
And I said we should meet. And then I talked to my friends about what's a good offer.
It's actually a funny story. I had the crappiest car of all time. I had a lavender, like a purple Ford Falcon. That was going to...
Man, if I'd have seen that, it definitely would have been 50-50.
I had a purple Ford Falcon that was basically falling apart, and I couldn't afford to even drive it or keep it up and running, and I had to go meet Tony. So I asked a friend of mine who had a much nicer car if he could drive me, because I was too embarrassed to show up, and it worked because we showed up in a nice car and it looked better.
Oh, that is funny.
But yeah, that's how Tony and I met. And honestly,
so you got the call and you said, okay, sure, let's meet.
It was amazing because I have about 60,000 unread emails, and that's nothing new. The site was getting so much email. I just happened to see Tony's email. Honestly, some of these things just happen. Like a bit of fail.
So the most of the emails you didn't see.
I wouldn't even looked at.
Yes.
But I saw Tony's and I thought, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, not
because you knew the show.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
No, I didn't know who the fuck. I didn't know who the fuck he was. But
Okay.
you know what? The email, it resonated because it's like, hey, I'm in the auto industry. You have no idea what the fuck you're doing. Basically, he wasn't like that, but that's how I felt. I was like, I can help you grow the site. And I was like, good, because I have no idea really. And on the auto, I know how to do the SEO. I know how to get traffic.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to get the cars. I don't know anyone in the industry. And I needed that. I was really young.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like he was just graduated high school.
Yeah.
When he started.
Yeah.
But you know, we met and we sort of went from there. And I think sometimes, like Paul said, I just had a good feeling about Tony. And in the 13 years that I've known him, we have never had a fucking argument. Ever. Like, ever. We've never argued about one thing.
Really?
It's incredible.
You all three?
No, this guy.
I like to argue.
This guy's the most.
There's nothing wrong with an argument, but
you.
I don't mean no disagreement, but I mean I've never fucking hung up the phone and said, fuck, like that guy doesn't know what he's doing. Like, there's always been a respect. There's always been, we understanding it. We're all trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
We're all pushing in the same. We're all rowing in the same direction.
yeah.
And that's been really important. That's why I think.
But the ideas are important there. You can have a discussion, but at the end of the day, you have to leave your ego on the table and go with the best idea.
And we've had plenty of our staff come up, in the 13 years, we've had plenty of our staff come up with great ideas that we've implemented that have worked.
Yeah.
Not all the ideas have been ours. In fact, most of them haven't. But we're not egotistical enough to go, we're doing it this way, no other way. I mean, if someone comes up with a great idea or a great idea for a story, we do it. Like Paul's Tesla drag race video, or just random stuff that I kind of go, oh, okay, let's give it a go. What's the harm?
Yeah.
But the worst that'll happen is we will fail. So, we had an iPad magazine, which was the worst idea ever.
Yeah, cool.
One of our staff came up with an idea of doing an iPad.
That was another fail with
And I knew at the time it was a terrible idea, but I was like, okay, this is one of our staff has had the initiative to go, let's do something different, let's do something new, let's have an iPad magazine.
Why did that fail?
Because we spend 90% of our time doing the iPad magazine, not the website. And it made about 5% of the money.
Yeah. Let me give an example of the last month at CarAdvice, before I left the company. Don't get me wrong, you work freaking hard at these. You video, you drive. You've got to drive fast and talk. You've got to go out again and do another video. Then you do some more video on the road with this car. You're talking to engineers. You're taking notes. It's really busy. It's intensive 2 days. It was really hot at the track, and we drove all day and then go straight to the airport home. So it's intensive. 2 days flying, 2 days on the ground. Then a week later, I'm off to Monaco for Bentley, the new flying spur. Driving around Monaco, and what you want to do with these trips, you pack a lot into those 2 days you're there. So you do have downtime, and you don't stay in your hotel room, you get out and do stuff, right? Monaco, you walk around and see the amazing Formula 1 track, and see the sculptures of the Formula 1 cars, the old school at different various key points along the track. It's an amazing job.
Yes.
And
even if you sleep just a couple of hours and
you don't care.
You're back.
So
You have the jet lag from the long flight.
Australians are used to that, so we have to deal with that. So you try and get in the time zone immediately you leave Australia. You try and live on the next time zone and sleep, and then get up, stay awake, and then sleep on the next leg. But it's a fabulous, it's a dream job. And occasionally you get some really good people that you're with, and that makes it like a holiday. Anyone want to add to that?
No, I think though, maybe a lot of people looking from the outside in this think we just go around the world and drive cars. That may have been the case in the last 6 months of our employment at CarAdvice.
Yeah.
But in the first 10 years of building it up, I mean, we
were lucky to get a road trip to...
But also the amount of hours we put in doing other things and meeting people and just getting it happening and just...
Well, the first 4 years...
Thinking about it makes me exhausted.
We were emailing at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Hey guys, like someone's got this up in Europe. Let's get the story up. George, can you write this?
Even that trip that Tony organised with the car I mentioned earlier, we shared like a family room.
It was one room, 5 people.
Yeah, we had to share beds in a room.
5 people in one room.
We got 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night, and it was unbelievably hard work. But you wouldn't swap that for anything.
No, those trips were the best trips we had.
We were running on adrenaline. With 3 hours sleep, then you had to perform. We did a factory. I'm told it was one of the first ever factory tours of Bugatti in the world.
Yeah.
So we actually went to every station. You would have thought it'd be secret, but they allowed us to film. And then the next day we drove the car, the Veyron. You remember the Bugatti Veyron?
Yeah.
2008 this is. This is just after Top Gear had driven the car, but they didn't do a factory tour. And he was walking around picking up a titanium bolt. There's hundreds of titanium bolts in the engine. There's 60 euro each.
Mm-hmm.
And
just one bolt.
Just one bolt.
Yeah.
And then
You can only use it once as well.
only one. So the service, which was 10,000 euro to service the car.
Back in 2008.
Back in 2008, it's probably 20 now. They throw all the bolts in the bin and put new titanium bolts in, hence the 10,000. The wheels on the Bugatti were 40,000 euros a set.
When I first met Albors, we flew into the airport, he was walking towards me, and I thought, shady dude, this guy needs to have a shower and a shave, and I'll probably never speak to him again. But it was probably the best thing I've ever done. Trusting these guys, you know. Trust your gut instinct and trust your colleagues.
Yeah.
I think I contacted Albors over email just to see what he was doing, and same thing. He signed off every email with Mr. Albors' father. And this was before social media.
Really?
I thought, oh, he must be like an older gentleman. And then when we met in person, I saw this guy walking towards me. I thought, the fuck is this?
Because he was so young.
Well, young, but
I was just trying to be professional,
you know,
perhaps.
he still has no dress sense, but he had even less back then. In fact, I think I've seen him wearing Crocs before.
Where's that handbag?
Yeah. So it was interesting. The first impression, you should never judge a book by its cover, because if you hadn't seen Albors then, I would have thought.
He'd seen Paul at the time.
And me, like I was young.
He was dressed like he just robbed a liquor store. I guess it goes both ways. But
Exactly. But yeah, that's the thing. If I had have thought on first impression, looked at this guy.
Don't judge people by first impression.
Exactly.
Okay.
You never know what they are. And
Yes.
this is a big mistake Australian car companies made with like Ferrari and this type of thing. When the Chinese were spending money in Australia, they would walk into a Ferrari dealership in track pants and a t-shirt, and the Ferrari dealer would go, oh, you can't buy a car. And this guy from China has $100 million in his bank account and he wants to buy a car.
Yeah.
So you can't judge people by first impressions. Yeah.
I would say just go out there and take a chance, take a risk, especially if you're young and don't have a ridiculous amount of responsibility. I mean, that's hard for me to say that to like a 55-year-old person that's got a mortgage and 3 kids, and it's a bit different in that scenario, but I still think you can do it with the right attitude. However, for someone in their early 20s or younger, or even in their early 30s or late 30s that is in a situation where they can take a risk, 6 to 12 months, give their dream a go.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do it, you'll be 60 and you'll still be doing the same shit.
Yeah.
So just go and do it. Like, the worst that'll happen is you'll feel content that you gave it a shot, it didn't work, and now you're back at doing what you were doing before.
Yeah.
So, otherwise you'll be 60. It's really funny. When we sold the business, we got a lot of press around the sale, like a lot of media attention. I had so many people call me, and some of the comments were hilarious. Stuff like, I'm happy for you guys. I can't be jealous because it's something I could have done myself. We had a lot of people in the industry, other car journalists, that felt like the 3 of us are just idiots, and they could have done it themselves, but they just didn't want to. Or it's like, no, hang on. We all took a humongous risk. Mm-hmm. We slaved away for years. Sort of, as the life of an entrepreneur goes like this. It's like this, then it goes like that. Right? Most people just go like that, but they never get to the high.
Yes.
So if you want to get to the high, you've got to have the lows.
Yeah.
And people don't realise that, and people just think, I could have done it, I'm the smartest here, I'm smarter than him. You know what, most of our staff are smarter than us, and that's why we hired them. But it's not IQ points that make you successful. It's your persistence and your willingness to never give up. And I think those 2 things are the most important.
It's the same in my marriage, man.
And always,
My wife is a lot smarter than me. And you know what? I'm happy for that.
Look forward 12 months. If you feel yourself doing the same thing in 12 months.
okay, forward.
I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
And if you feel doing the same shit.
Honestly, it's the reason we all left CarAdvice. We all thought, what are we doing here? Yeah, it's great, we're having a good time.
I couldn't imagine doing that.
Well, we're all having a good time, it was all great, but as entrepreneurs, and all of us are entrepreneurs, we saw ourselves in 12 months' time to be in the exact same situation.
Okay.
And we thought, we're now employees, and we're not employees. The 3 of us, we're not employees. Yeah. You can't treat us like employees, so we're not going to be employees anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your advice?
Follow your passion. Whatever you have an interest in life, try and don't start out thinking you're going to make millions of dollars out of that business, but innovate that passion, and whether it's, you know, blowing glass, a new form of glass or whatever, like anything, right?
Or reading the newspaper.
Doing something. I mean, in Germany, my friend took me to the guy that owns all the wave pools in Munich. There's a wave pool, and where you skydive, you know, the air. That guy, he's got places. Yeah, he's got stuff everywhere, and obviously had a passion for bungee jump. It's all around in the middle of Munich.
Yeah, right.
Like you can do the wave pool and go surfing in the middle of Munich.
Yes.
Because the only other place to surf in the middle of Munich is actually the river in the English Garden.
Yeah, the English Garden.
Right, and this guy said, okay, well, let's get them, and he's charging like €50 for 15 minutes.
Exactly.
And they're lining up.
Wow.
And he's one of the richest guys in Germany right now. It's basically the equivalent of adrenaline.
Yeah.
But the idiots here couldn't make adrenaline work, I guess, because Holmes was running it. But you know what I mean? This guy was able to follow his passion for having fun in sports and all that, and he's made a fortune in Germany, which would be very hard to do.
Exactly.
The lesson they're telling you is follow your passion, without insulting everyone in the process.
maybe wipe out the idiots.
You seem to be very passionate about Germany as well.
I like Germany.
Yeah.
I like all places. I like Portugal. I like France. And, you know, I have some friends in Germany.
Yeah.
That I stay with in Munich and stuff. And he knows one of them. They were a driver, a young mechanical engineering guy. He was a driver with us, and he drove him. So the students take car companies do an event, and they do the driving. And this guy has been all around the world. And there's an interesting thing to do. So 22-year-old Ben Winkelmeyer, and he goes all around the world to the Formula One race. He says, I'm in Austin. Where's that surfing wave pool in Austin? I'm going to go to that. So this guy's 22 years old, just finished uni, and still doing this in his holidays. It's an amazing job, right? If anyone listening there that wants to drive cool cars all around the world, you can do that and get paid for it. Like seriously, without writing reviews, you know?
Thank you guys for this amazing talk. It was really inspirational for me. Yeah?
Thank you, man. Yeah,
thank you.
Good to talk.
Yeah, find these guys on Instagram or whatever if you have any specific question about this story. And all the best for you guys for your next steps, and hope to see you again.
For sure.
And subscribe to the Startup Taxi. Und damit bin ich raus. Bam!